Hello and good evening to all the CAT aspirants as well as the students who are preparing for the non-CAT exams. The CAT is soon approaching. We are left with, I guess, 1 month and 20 days now. It's high time now that whoever is into the preparation and whoever has just decided to go for the CAT exam should have a fair idea of what the roadmap should be for the preparation. A lot of us decide to go for this exam without the actual, you can say, the complete knowledge or with certain false perception. So it's important that you get an idea of what the pattern and the syllabus is and what does this exam demand. Well, I will be particularly focusing on the verbal section, the VARC section, but I'll give you an idea about the overall strategy as well. So without waiting anymore, let's get into the video. I'll be discussing the roadmap to cracking the CAT exam today. Now, the first thing first, what are the steps to crack CAT or for that matter, any MBA entrance exam or any other competitive exam? Step 1 is mental preparedness. A lot of students coming under the influence of the peers, friends, family, cousins or anything go for the exam, but they actually are not prepared for it mentally. You need to sit down, think about it, I would not say think, you need to accept that this is one of the most competitive exams if we talk about the MBA entrance exam. So what does this particular exam demands? What you can do is you can just have a look at the previous year paper to get an idea of the fair idea of all the 3 sections and the level of difficulty of those questions. So one, you need to prepare yourself that I have to be selfish for these 2 months for myself and I have to prepare for this exam, cutting on everything else, cutting on all the distractions. Second is know the paper. Again, you need to have a look at the previous year paper and then see what are the question type, what are the section, how many questions do we get from it, what are the areas in all the 3 section, and what is the level of difficulty of those questions. Then you need to decide what is your starting point. According to that, you need to focus more on certain areas which you are weak in, or let's say the areas in which you want to hone your skills even further. So know the paper thoroughly, know what is the time limit for each and every section, which is 40 minutes. Then try to do one section and see if I am able to complete this section in 40 minutes or not. Are we required to go for all the question in all the sections? Well, absolutely not. And all this knowledge comes when you actually sit and see the previous year paper. To give you an example, in the VARC section, how many questions would you get? You'll get 24 questions and there is a negative marking of -1 also for every wrong answer. So you need to know the different areas of questions that come in this section and you need to see which section or which area am I good in. So if you can maintain the accuracy, you would really be ending with a good percentile. But if you are aimlessly going for each and every section, each and every RC, that would be, a lot more time consuming, and you may end up getting more negative marks. So for example, if there are 4 reading comprehension passages, just have a glance of it to decide which one should I start with, so that it's a good start and it's an easy one. My morale is high throughout the paper and everything. Then another thing which a lot of students discover very later on in their preparation is that by the time they reach the 3rd section, which is the quant section, they get drained or they get tired, they get burned out. So again, it's important that you are doing those full dress rehearsals for your mocks, for your, WinCats, you can say. So step number 3 is make a strategy of all the 3 sections. All the 3 sections have a different approach. In verbal, you will have, just 4 to 5 areas from which question can come. But then still, the language is tricky. The nature of this section is so subjective that you do not know if you've attempted a particular question in the right way or in the wrong way. You may end up being confused about that, right? Whereas if we talk about the quant and DI, you need to solve each and every question. Sometimes just by looking at the question or having a look at all the question, you can decide which are the questions that are doable, or for DI, which are the sets that I can do and I can actually get some results. And then just go for those 2 to 3 set. You don't have to do all the 4-5 sets, right? Because the more questions you attempt, the more negative you may get, more chances of getting negatives. So make a strategy for all the 3 section. Another example that I would like to give you that you can use in your strategy. For example, if you are giving 1 hour to 2 hour to your verbal section in the morning and you're keeping the rest of the day for quant and DI, what you can do is, for verbal, it's just practice. You need to read daily. You need to solve certain passages daily. You can go by one article every day. The idea here is to accumulate as many as words you can to your vocabulary bank, because in this paper there will be no question from grammar or vocabulary, direct question. But understanding the passage thoroughly, taking out its essence, and then answering those questions which are not at all direct would become tricky if we are not doing this practice each and every day religiously and continuously and consistently, you may say. Then when you come to your quant section, you know that you may get questions from arithmetic, algebra, and every other sub areas. So you need to see which all areas I've already completed, or I've already solved some questions of it and now I'm fine with it. So you need to go by the topics when it comes to quant and DI. For DI, again, you need to practice different sets. One of data interpretation, the second would be logical reasoning questions, the sitting arrangement and all. So if you feel like I am not too good with numbers and all, you can go for the logical reasoning section. But that you will be able to identify on your own when you are actually taking one previous year paper and analyzing it thoroughly. Now, see, when a student goes for the preparation of this exam, if he or she is starting it 6-7 months before the exam, then they have ample time to decide, or ample time to practice questions. But when you're starting very late, just 2 months before the exam, you go by the reverse preparation. You see the paper first, and then you divide, and I may say channelize your energy accordingly to those sections, or accordingly to those areas under different sections. Otherwise you may end up reading a lot but gathering too little. So it's important that you have an idea of all the 3 sections and what should be your strategy for the preparation. Step number 4 is clarify the concepts one by one. Just take a printout. You can get it anywhere. You will simply search free syllabus for the CAT exam, or the latest pattern of the CAT exam of all the 3 section extensive syllabus. You'll get the list on the Google. Just print it out, paste it on your front wall, and go on ticking the areas that you already practiced questions from. And step number 5 is rigorous practice. Take your sectional test on the daily basis, do your exercises, and on the intervals, I would say, in every week try to do 2 mocks or at least 1 mock. Step number 6 is full length mocks, and step number 7 is solve the previous year paper. So I'll give you 2 strategies over here. One set of student would go for first doing the mocks, and in November they may take the previous year paper just in the same setting, just to see ki how much I have learned or where do I stand now. Will I be able to score good or not? The second set of people may take the previous year papers first, and then they will test themselves on a fresh mock paper. It's completely up to you, whichever you are fine with. But yes, in these last few days, you will learn a lot by giving the mocks. Simply doing or clarifying concept is one thing, but applying it actually on the paper under that time constraint, your aptitude being checked, your logical understanding being checked, that all comes only when you actually sit for the marks and then give due time to it, to its you can say analysis, to see ki okay, these were the easy question most people did. Why was I not able to do it? Where was I lacking in my understanding or comprehension? So this is how you improve after each and every mock. So these are a few steps which we often underestimate, but trust me, if you are disciplined enough to follow the steps, you may see the sunlight, you may see the brighter side, right? So Let's now focus on the verbal section. My aim of today's class is to give you a hint of how can you go about the verbal section. So there are just 4 areas in the CAT exam. Well, in non-CAT exam, there are some few other areas also. I'll mention that too in the video. So total question is 24 and you will get 40 minutes to solve these questions. Plus 3 for every correct answer, minus 1 for every wrong answer. The first area will be reading comprehension, from which you get 16 questions, which means almost 66% of the paper is reading comprehension itself. Now, do not underestimate it thinking, oh, reading comprehension, we've been doing it from the school time. These are good level good level reading comprehensions, which require you to critically understand, and every time you have to take out the main idea or you have to churn out the essence from it. Right, so there will be 4 passages with 4 questions each. Next area is the parajumbles. So there will be 3 parajumble questions, which we also call theta questions. Now, these theta questions do not carry any negative marking because there is no option for these questions. You simply see the jumbled sentences and it's completely up to you in what order you put that particular, those particular sentences, be it B, C, E, A, D or whatever sequence you are okay with. So as such, there are no options to refer to. So yes, it becomes a very attractive option that there is no negative marking in parajumbles. I'll do it. This will be the first thing that I'll do. But the only thing that you will lose here is time. So it's important that you decide when are you going to go for these questions, how much time will you be giving to these 3 questions. Now you are wise enough to decide how many chances are there of getting these questions correct. So one, it's very subjective. It depends upon person to person. A person may find a particular parajumble question very easy because he's familiar with the subject area. Another person may find it difficult. Second thing, sometime if you see there is a very shorter passage, as in just 4 sentences are jumbled, the language is relatively simple, then definitely you should go for it. But my suggestion here would be, go for these 3 questions in the end of the paper. So when you're left with those 4-5 minutes out of the 40 minutes, then go for these 3 questions. Next is sentence placement questions. Okay, so it was only last year that sentence placement questions were given in the exam, in which a sentence is given in the question followed by a paragraph with 4 different blanks. It's just like fill in the blanks. It's just that here you have to fill a whole sentence into a paragraph. So you have to decide the place of that sentence in the paragraph. Trust me, these are the doable questions. If you can connect the dots, if you can understand the flow of the thought of the whole passage and understand the meaning of that one sentence, you can decide where can I fit this. There would be different hints. I'll be very soon coming up with videos for all the 3-4 areas extensively. And I hope you do attend the class. You will get some idea about it. We will solve some questions here together. It may give a quick kickstart to your preparation, to you doing the exercises on your own. So 2 questions, doable questions. Last is para summary. Again, doable question, 3 questions, where a short paragraph is given to you followed by 4 options with different summaries for the same paragraph. You have to choose the right, appropriate, or you can say the most apt kind of summary that justifies the whole passage, not just one or the other idea here or there in the paragraph. It has to justify the whole passage because it's a summary. So these are the question types. Well, my idea here is we'll be taking up each and every topic one by one. In my today's class, I'll start with reading comprehension because maximum number of questions come from this area. You also need to understand how reading comprehension can be tricky. How can one not perform good at one such section, VARC section, where there is no grammar question, no vocabulary question? We'll get to know that with some questions. Everyone who's attending the live, I want you people to, pause the video, read the passage on your own and try answering the questions. So let's start our practice with reading comprehension, as it covers around 66% of the whole VARC section. So I'm going to read this passage for you. Everyone who's been attending the class may pause it and quickly read it while I'm reading it. It will be followed by 2 questions. I would want to see who answers both the questions correctly. Now, before starting, what should be the right approach to read a paragraph? So, we all know that it should be a speed reading. You have to quickly scan through the whole passage and skim only the essential information. It's not just one sentence, it's a whole passage. The idea here is you need not know each and every meaning or each and every word in the passage, but you should very well know to take out the essence of each and every paragraph. If you are able to do that, if you are able to understand this author is being, in a positive mood, or he is appreciating something, or is he subtly criticizing something, a lot of things will become easy for you while you're answering the question. So engage with the passage, right? You'll enjoy this passage. Let's read it. The evolution of Twitter from a micro-blogging site to a potential political platform is a testament to the mutable and dynamic nature of digital communication technologies. My first line tells me so much. It gives me the subject. It gives me what are we going to talk about. So here we are going to talk about the evolution of Twitter. And through this one example, what do I want to convey? I want to convey the dynamic nature of digital communication technologies. Well, being specific, I'm going to talk about Twitter, that how it turned or it mutated from a microblogging site to a potent, you can say, political tool or political platform for people to put forward their ideas. It's going to be interesting. Originally conceived as a space for users to broadcast succinct real-time updates on quotidian activities. Quotidian. Now, for example, you do not know it. Well, it's everyday activity, ordinary activity, day-to-day activities. This is what cat people do. They give you difficult vocabulary for the simple things. So he's saying that initially Twitter was just a platform for the users who could post things about the day-to-day activities. Twitter has metamorphosed, a fancy word. Metamorphosis is changing your form, completely changing from one thing to the other thing. So Twitter has evolved from one thing to the other thing. Twitter has metamorphosed into a cacophonous agora where political discourses are curated, conflated, and often confluent with populist sentiments. So, populist is this sentiment of our era where we feel that, whatever is being done to us is unjust, or probably the political party which is ruling is not ruling correctly. So basically pinpointing each and everything and this general kind of dissatisfaction that we have with governance. That is our political disposition, populist disposition, you can say. So there are 2 things you need to notice from it. He's going to talk about digital platform and how they can evolve so much that someday they can become a political weapon, a tool of propagating your own political ideas. So in most of the cat passages, 2 to 3 areas would be amalgamated every time. Here, political influence, how people create political influence through through Twitter is given here in this particular passage. Now, tracing this evolution requires an understanding of the melange of socio-technical determinants that underscore Twitter's operational paradigm. So, in my second paragraph, this was first paragraph which simply gave me the idea of the whole thing. So, most of the main idea comes from this only. Now, the second paragraph is going to talk about Twitter's operational paradigm. How does it work? How does it operate? At its inception in the beginning, Twitter's primary appeal was its simplicity. With just 140 character, it changed user to encapsulate their thoughts. So this was Twitter's appeal, that how well can you say a thing in the minimum amount of words that you are given. This was the appeal. This parsimonious format was both a limitation and a novelty. So yes, though it was a limitation that you have to convey whatever you want to convey in just 140 character, but this was something new. It was a novelty. However, it inadvertently primed the platform for a political metamorphosis. The brevity required by early Twitter paralleled the soundbite culture of modern political communication, wherein pithy, easily digestible statements often gain more traction than nuanced discourses. So, if you can say a lot of things in fewer words, that is much more attractive to people because it encapsulates the whole idea wonderfully. It's a short and witty statement. So, brevity of the statements that were posted on Twitter was its appeal, you can say. Now you see there were so many wonderful words, difficult words over here. Still we understood the whole second paragraph, right? So I'm not gonna, be chiding you for learning each and every word. Here we will see how smartly we take out the meanings. Moreover, the algorithm underpinnings of Twitter have played a cardinal role in its political ascendance. Hashtags. Now he is going to talk about the algorithms in this passage. Ki how did algorithm help it to become so famous? Hashtags, ostensibly a tool for taxonomizing content, became a means of galvanizing social political movement. So people aggravated social political movement by using hashtags. Even you know that. We've seen so many examples. Because once you hashtag something, everything related to it will come in your suggestion, and eventually people will hear the same news and you will internalize it. Or people who are listening to or reading to such news, they will internalize it. The Arab Springs, Black Lives Matter, and the Me Too movement were not only amplified but to a certain extent orchestrated via Twitter. So the world would have never have known about, let's say, the Me Too movement, or people across different countries would have never known that the women of the other country or some other foreign country is also facing the same kind of issue. It was only the hashtags or the Twitter that connected them all throughout the globe. Same is for the Arab Spring and the Black Lives Matter. It was aggravated because of Twitter, right? These hashtags transcended mere categorization. They became symbols, rallying cries, and digital picket signs. Moving on to the next paragraph. So my third paragraph just gave me a few examples to explain that Twitter not just displays certain political ideas, it in fact aggravates them, orchestrates them. But to focus solely on Twitter's internal machinization would be myopic, would be narrow. So, okay, he's saying that just studying about its internal algorithms or something is not enough. We're going to read about something else now. The external ecosystem. So initially I was just, the author was just telling you about how does Twitter work, how there are only 140 characters, how the algorithms help. Now he's going to talk about people and their perception who are using Twitter. External ecosystem also favored Twitter's political metamorphosis. How is that so? Let's read it. The 24-hour news cycle, the surge in citizen journalism, and the erosion of the traditional media gatekeepers meant that news organizations increasingly turned to Twitter for real-time updates. So whenever it's a news channel on TV, let's say, it still has to be censored. And there will be many filters. It can be your boss, it can be the head over there who would say, this type of content should not be posted or should not be showed on TV. There is no such case with Twitter. You could absolutely put each and everything instantly. And there was no time limit. It was 24/7. So this has helped Twitter to evolve a lot. Politicians, activists, and thought leaders soon realized that the platform's potential for direct engagement bypassing the filters and potential biases of traditional media. This intimidation is when there is an intermediary, a person who would be in between, who would be telling you what to do, what not to do, what to post, what not to post. but the word is opposite. Disintermediation, while democratizing, also opened the floodgates for misinformation, echo chambers, and polarized discourses. So, what did we just notice? Till now, he was appreciating Twitter. He was lauding Twitter, that how it evolved wonderfully, how it helps people to propagate political ideas, how it gives you information about the things happening in other country. Suddenly, his tone is getting a little negative now, because he is saying he not just to remove the filters, it provided a floodgate for a lot of misconception, you can say, or wrong kind of news, or spreading wrong kind of agendas. So now over here, his tone has become a little negative. Now, all this is very important while you are reading the comprehensions. This is called engaging with the passage. Let's read the last bit. However, Twitter's role in the political ecosystem has not been without contention. Again, negative. So now he's going to talk about the cons of it, or the negatives of it. Its very design, which rewards virility, often incentivizes extreme viewpoints, reducing complex issues into binary debates. Now, a lot of jargon, right? Well, just to give you an idea about it, virility is the tendency of something to be viral as soon as it can be. So, yeah, Twitter makes things viral, one. And second is it extremes, it reduces our viewpoint to certain binary matlab two. So either you favor it or you not favor it. So your horizon is not too broad to think about things. It reduces everything to these two halves, you can say. It has created the dichotomy in that way. The impermanent nature of the tweets, though fleeting, often have long-lasting repercussions, leading to what some scholars term as ephemeral permanence. Though they are ephemeral, we know that after 24 hours it's gonna go. Sometime it may have a long-lasting or everlasting effect on the mind of the reader. Furthermore, while Twitter has democratized political discourse, it has also been a fertile ground for echo chambers, where individuals are are only exposed to like-minded viewpoints, further entrenching political polarization. Polarization is, again, you know that there are two poles, north and south. So this term means either you favor it or you not favor it. So you're opposites in this. So this last line is saying that Twitter provided a fertile ground for you reading or getting to see only those kind of ideas and tweets that you favor. You know that it happens even today. You search one thing on Google, you'll see it on Instagram, on Facebook, and everywhere else. So same is with Twitter. The trajectory of Twitter's political evolution underscores the broader implication of digital technologies on society. So he's saying that this graph of Twitter, this evolution of Twitter, makes us think that what kind of implications can we have because of digital media. It serves as a cautionary tale. So he's asking us to be cautious. Cautionary tales of unintended consequences of technological design and the need for critical engagement with the platforms that increasingly shape our public sphere. So whenever you're engaged with it, engage with it in a critical way. Do not take each and every news that is thrown to you or given to you. See under the surface. Even today, I would like to say, whenever some kind of news is there, you know that there are a lot of controversies and news going on in our country even today. Do not believe each and everything that is shown to you. Do your own research. Look beneath that surface. You will see those things which which you want to favor, and it will further be aggravated into your mind. It will get that fertile ground in your mind. I hope you did get an idea of what all did he talk about the evolution of Twitter. Let's move on to the question and let's see how much you gathered from it. So this is the first question in front of you, everyone. Go through the question and try to answer it. So let me read the first question for you. Meanwhile, I'm waiting for your responses. Put your answers, try your luck, put it in the chat box. Based on the passage, what is the attitude of the writer towards Twitter's development into political platform? तो पैसेज के बेसिस पे आपको बताना है कि ऑथर का क्या एटीट्यूड है ट्विटर के एवोल्यूशन के बारे में. एटीट्यूड मतलब टोन या फिर उसका मूड. सो दिस क्वेश्चन कम्स फ्रॉम टोन. So when you are to get tone question, it would not necessarily say the word tone, may use words like attitude or mood also. You need to understand that. Okay. I've got Anant's response. Let's see, Anant, how correct you were. What about the rest of the people? So what do you think? What was his tone about Twitter turning into a political platform? Was it unreserved admiration? क्या उसने सिर्फ तारीफ की थी, unreserved admiration की थी? No, he actually showed us by the end of the passage that it can have certain negative implications also. तो unreserved admiration या complete admiration तो नहीं थी. Severe censor, as Anant has said, one of his choices. So severely censor भी नहीं किया था. Initially उसने बहुत तारीफ भी की थी कि it helped in democratizing political views, right? It helped people to get to know about the other news, and it helped media to give certain news which do not require any intermediary or any filters. तो पूरी तरह से सेंसर भी नहीं किया था. Severe would become a very strong word here. Apathetic neutrality. How can he be neutral जब उसने पूरे पैसेज में बात ही ट्विटर की है. तो उसने सिर्फ ट्विटर के एवोल्यूशन की बात नहीं की. He actually had mentioned certain pros and cons of it. तो अब फॉर एग्जाम्पल कैसे वाइजली चूज करते हैं आंसर. अगर आपको अपेथेटिक नहीं भी पता, आपको ये पता है कि न्यूट्रल तो नहीं था वो पूरे पैसेज में, उसकी टोन न्यूट्रल तो नहीं थी क्लियरली. सो ही प्रेज्ड इट एज वेल एज क्रिटिसाइज्ड इट बाय द एंड. Apathetic is without any emotion, lack of emotion. तो ऐसा तो नहीं है there was lack of emotion. Answer would be second one. So yes, Anant, you answered it correctly. It would be the second one, which is skeptical approbation. Approbation is praising or supporting something. तो he was supporting Twitter to be one such platform जहाँ पे आप अपने political ideas को portray कर सकते हो. लेकिन उसका जो ये praise था या support था, it was a little skeptical also. He asked us in the last paragraph that you need to be cautious of what you post there and what you read there. So yes, almost 2/3 of the passage was praising Twitter and its evolution and how it helped to democratize views, but the 1/3 of the last part also criticized it, that how it can be a floodgate for some misinformation, misconception, how it can create echo chamber and polarize your thinking. तो एप्रोबेशन तो था, सपोर्ट तो था ट्विटर को, लेकिन थोड़ा सा स्केप्टिकल था, डाउटफुल था, राइट? सो दिस वुड बी द राइट आंसर. वेरी गुड अनंत. लेट्स सी द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन नाउ, अ लिटिल लेंथी वन. Based on the last passage, what can be inferred about the author's stance on the burgeoning influence of digital technologies on society? He is not simply asking you ki what can you infer from the last paragraph, or what was he saying about the our reliance on digital technology. So yes, he has made the language a little difficult, but what he is simply asking us कि हमें last paragraph के basis पे inference निकालना है कि क्या इन्फ्लुएंस होता है डिजिटल टेक्नोलॉजी का सोसाइटी पे. नाउ आई शोड यू बिट बाय बिट कि उसकी टोन कैसे चेंज हो रही थी. ट्राई टू चूज द राइट आंसर हियर अकॉर्डिंग टू द लास्ट पैराग्राफ दैट वी जस्ट रेड. द फर्स्ट इज द ऑथर लॉर्ड्स डिजिटल टेक्नोलॉजी. लॉर्ड्स इज प्रेज, जैसे हम अपलॉड्स बोलते हैं. द ऑथर लॉर्ड्स डिजिटल टेक्नोलॉजीज unequivocally for their transformative societal impact. unequivocally, equivocal होता है हर तरफ की बात करना, और unequivocally मतलब बहुत ही steadfastly उसने सपोर्ट किया डिजिटल टेक्नोलॉजीज को या डिजिटल मीडिया को. क्या ऐसा था लास्ट पैराग्राफ में अकॉर्डिंग टू यू पीपल? No, it was not. Clearly in the last paragraph he asked us to be cautious. He has used certain adjectives and terms like misconception, echo chambers, polarized thoughts, creating binaries. He was not supporting digital media completely in the last paragraph. तो मैं ये बिल्कुल नहीं बोल सकती कि उसने अनइक्विवोकली अपलॉड किया था डिजिटल टेक्नोलॉजीज को. Okay, Anand says C. B is the author perceives digital technologies as inherently detrimental to societal structures. Isn't this also very extreme? फर्स्ट वाला डिजिटल मीडिया को फेवर करने में एक्सट्रीम था, सेकंड वाला उसको क्रिटिसाइज करने में एक्सट्रीम है. सो अकॉर्डिंग टू द सेकंड वन, ऑथर इन द लास्ट पैराग्राफ वाज सेइंग कि जो डिजिटल टेक्नोलॉजीज है वो बहुत हार्मफुल है हमारी सोसाइटल स्ट्रक्चर्स के लिए. व्हेन डिड ही से दैट? ही तो एक्सेप्टेड इट कि एक्चुअली इट्स वेरी हेल्पफुल टू spread certain news within no time, instant news, and to give you idea about everything that is happening across the globe. C, which Anant has also answered, is absolutely right answer. The author underscores, underscore होता है किसी चीज को highlight करना. The author underscores the multifarious ramifications of digital technologies, urging prudence, wisdom, smartness, urging carefulness in their design and interaction. तो डिजाइन की बात की थी फर्स्ट पैराग्राफ में, इंटरैक्शन या फिर यू कैन से द एनवायरमेंट, इकोसिस्टम की बात की थी उसने लास्ट पैराग्राफ में. और ये सारी बात करने के बाद सबसे लास्ट पैराग्राफ में ही कंक्लूडेड और ही हाईलाइटेड कि कैसे इसके कुछ रेमिफिकेशंस या बैड कंसिक्वेंसेस भी हो सकते हैं. तो इट्स इम्पॉर्टेंट कि आप बहुत ही प्रूडेंट हो while you are designing that particular digital media platform and what kind of interaction can it have with people. So a complete balanced kind of sentence, I would say, is the right answer. Last is the author believes that digital platform have no significant influence on public speakers. Well, this becomes out of context. ये तो ऑथर ने लास्ट लाइन में he did not talk about public speakers. He did not say that it have a significant influence on public speakers. Not just these, it has an influence on everyone. So this becomes a little out of context, जिसे हम easily eliminate कर सकते हैं. So I think you got some idea about what level of passages can come, and we may get different or difficult words over there. Still we have to be smarter than the passage and take out the essence from it. We will still be able to answer the question. Now it's a plus point for you guys that there is no direct question. Almost all the questions are inferential or reasoning based. So if you are able to find out the essence and the main idea in the passage, you will be able to answer these questions. None of this option can be like literally traced back in the passage. You have a general idea of the whole passage, you can answer it. So we will be coming up with the next topic very soon. Stay tuned to the channel. I will be discussing sentence rearrangement or parajumble questions in the next class. And if you have any queries or you want me to come up with any video, please put that in the chat box. Till then, all the very best and thank you so much.